Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Some Sort of Gaming Podcast. I'm your host, JSharpie, and I'm here with LadyInfamous, UnsheathedProductions, and Zeldrick. We are new to doing this live, so please expect some pauses like what I just did. So this is how it's going to work. We each are going to talk. We're going to introduce ourselves, and I should start. And after that, we're going to have topics by each of us, and we're going to have questions that will be provided by the person that provided that topic, and we're going to end it after that. Anyways, I should introduce myself. My name is JSharpie. I am my favorite type of games are competitive shooters and strategy type games and some puzzle games. What the games that least interest me are going to be, I guess you can say, games that has a very slow story based type of games. Like if the story doesn't intrigue me enough, then then I'm gonna have a hard time with the game. But what I'm trying to accomplish here on out is try to get this podcast going this year, and I'm gonna try to get my own self-branding going on this year. Thank you all for attending us.
A lot of puzzle games, like definitely a lot of fighting games now, platformers, beat 'em ups, uh, like story based adventures, tower defense. Thank you very much. And like some horror games, but so that's kind of like the primarily what I do, and I think I kind of tend to veer away from sort of first person shooters, um, primarily just because I'm not huge into the whole competitive scene. Um, what I'm kind of working towards is kind of similar thing to Sharpie, kind of establishing my branding, but also I want to be rich. I don't know about the rest of y'all. So I'm kind of working towards that. I want to retire by the time I'm 45. So kind of on that path. And then just more travel. And yeah, thanks everybody for showing up. Appreciate you guys being here.
My name is Zeldrick. Um, my favorite types of games are RPGs. It's what I have grown up on. Um, and then after that would be action games, action RPGs. The one genre that like goes way over my head as far as for I guess just being plain out boring is just sports games in general. You got to have a little bit of craziness in that sports game if you want to draw me in. Um, but as far as for what I want to achieve in the near future for, I guess for all of 2021 is to be finally set up on at a career with some degrees, some certificates, and to um, to be in a better place. And I'm hoping to move out this year, and that'll be a huge step out for me. Um, mm, I think yeah, that's about it. Thank you for joining and coming on by to the stream.
All right. Thank you for all three of you for joining us, and thank you for the audience for joining us live. Remember that we're gonna have an audio only VOD starting tomorrow. That will be released tomorrow on Spotify, iTunes, and Apple Podcast. And what was it? What else was there? Stitcher and Google Podcast. All right. Anyways, so please let all your friends know and all your families know. All right, so we're gonna move on with the topics. How it's gonna work is I'm gonna provide like a news topic that occurred this week, and I'm gonna bring out an open-ended question. So I'm gonna start off. So Ubisoft, or not just Ubisoft, I should say Star Wars and LucasArts, more specifically Star Wars, has been leaving its own license from EA in 2023. What do you guys think is gonna? How do you think is gonna be the future of Star Wars games when it comes to other developers? And what do you think NFL can follow suit?
I will go first. I think with my experience with Ubisoft is that the last couple of games that I got, they were some like game breaking bugs and stuff. So I really want them to really focus on the world of that the Star Wars is. I enjoyed the movies because it immediately immersed me into the world. You know what I mean? And my problem with Ubisoft is they may have a bug that made me like kill my immersion, which happened to me on the last title that I played. And I really hope that that world can transcend well into games. With technology, I think that, I think they can do better than they did before with the previous titles. What about you guys?
I think this actually does do a lot for the Star Wars brand as far as for the games moving forward, because it kind of means that other publishers can have their hand at what their what type of game they could make, and kind of like it opens the doors for the brand. The fact that this is a open world type of Star Wars game, it kind of like is a little bit reminiscent of KOTOR 2, because it's somewhat open world in that, but it makes it gives more creativity for developers at that point, since like EA has always like had their hands on Star Wars. Um and I think it's actually more of a positive thing that other people, other developers, other publishers can do what they in within reason, because obviously Star Wars and Disney is gonna be telling like, no, you can't do this or that. But it kind of like, an open world game from Ubisoft is different than an open world game from Square Enix and EA. So it kind of like, I think it's gonna be more creativity for the brand.
And that's kind of what I'm personally looking for, because like one of the things that I've sort of latched onto relatively recently was like, I guess it hasn't been that recent, but indie games. And I think it'd be cool to like basically have that option to explore like different ways of like utilizing the Star Wars lore and the Star Wars characters and stuff like that to make more creative types of games in the franchise. So we're not always just seeing like Battlefront style games, or even just like, RPGs. Somebody could probably come up with like something completely new that we never thought of that like just fits perfectly with this franchise. So to me, like it seems like an interesting opportunity to just kind of like, let's test the waters and see what other cool things we can come up with. You might even come up with, a new genre of games, kind of like the battle royale thing kind of popped up out of nowhere. Um, and I think that's one thing that like the indie devs are really good at doing. So that's kind of what I would hope to see, is them branching out that way. I know they're going to branch out with like a lot of other bigger developers as well, but still, I think like the smaller experiences might kind of be the more interesting ones. Um,
Do you think with Ubisoft that's going to be some microtransactions in there,
I
That's
feel like
always the
Ubisoft is
thought.
going to make the
or
same
at least
game
season
as
pass,
everything else.
or at least a season pass? I see a season pass in my future if they're going to
Um,
collaborate like
well, as far as for like that sort of thing, the way that Assassin's Creed has been with the past 3 games, like the microtransactions have always been like a sideline thing. And like they're by Helix or whatever the fuck. And it's just like, here's like just an extra menu option, and You know, it's here, but we don't actually tell you you can do it. It's just here, and you have to actually explore menus to find it. So I don't think like the microtransaction is going to be a thing. I think that's where it's going to land. But as far as for what Sharpie said, like it's going to be like the same thing as every other open world. That's kind of the worry. Like same thing as like Far Cry and Assassin's Creed. Like it may be the same thing, but if it is, that's actually a huge downfall because the first thing that we always think of when it comes to open world Ubisoft games is, hey, go climb that tower. And hopefully it's not like, oh, hey, go to like this one village and on this one planet and like open a beacon, get like open up the map. Like hopefully it's nothing like that.
I have a feeling it's pretty much gonna be like Star Wars, like Ghost Recon.
Oh, damn.
God.
Why
Which is
would
gonna
you
be
say
terrible.
that? I
Because I mean, isn't
or
that kind of how they
Breakpoint
do open
or
world
Break
at this point? Yeah.
yeah, the Division
Yeah.
1 and 2 and Ghost Recon Breakpoint were really like the ones that were really like cut and paste type of open worlds. I really don't want to see that with Lucasfilm doing.
Well, they
I-
might end up
yeah.
doing something like, well, if you notice about Ubisoft or Ubisoft, whichever way you want to call it, they do the whole like Watch Dogs, Assassin's Creed. What was that project or something? Phoenix, Rising Phoenix,
Immortal Phoenix Rising.
Immortal Phoenix.
Immortal Phoenix.
Yeah, they're all relatively the same game.
Um,
True.
So are you going to be interested in this collaboration, Sharpie, in the future?
I'm personally not too excited for Ubisoft to be doing it, but we'll have to see what they do. Like clearly they have Disney like on their breathing down their neck, so they're gonna be like, you better make this good or something like that. Especially for a AAA title. But I'm gonna hope like more like a smaller developing team that's gonna probably be working on something more immersive, like as all of us has said, like go back to making KOTOR again, like KOTOR 3, but we're gonna have to see about that.
Hey, don't even mention like KOTOR 3 because while that's still like a lot of it's in the works or it's sort of hush hush or whatever, like that's a whole different discussion. But as far as for the Ars Technica publishing of this, specifically, they say that Wired's reporting suggests the game will be an open world title aiming for a longer playtime than a more linear story driven game like Fallen Order. The Division 2 and the crew director, Julian Garigti, will serve as creative director on the game, which will use massive Snowdrop engine. So the Division 2 as open world as that is kind of, and the crew for being open world, more of an open world, it's kind of getting into the details of this. It's more of like walking on eggshells about like where it's gonna go. I, as far as for like my excitement just for this specific like co-op on a Star Wars thing, I'm kind of like hit here or there with it. It's more of opening it up to other other publishers, other developers is what's the exciting part about this.
Yeah. Do we think the NFL? Probably not. I think they already like rake in the money with
Yeah, with their
Madden.
microtransactions and
Yeah.
MUT leagues and stuff like that. I don't.
But do you guys
wouldn't-
think like if NFL opened up more to other developers, it's gonna give them even more money?
Oh hell yeah.
I mean, I
think
think
so.
the problem is that like it's a sport, so there's like there's a very specific, it's not like Star Wars where you can hypothetically branch off and do like, you know, Star Wars Squadrons and then do like Jedi Fallen Order. It's like it's just football, so it's kind of hard. Like I don't know if it's that beneficial if they're already making that much money with like Madden to say, okay, you guys do one too. It might like split their profits from like between two different companies, but I don't know if I'd see them making more.
But wouldn't that create competition? Like, like remember like the NBA games. There were I don't know about now. I'm pretty sure there's two NBA games right now, but like before it used to be like a like 3 competing NBA games were going on like back in the PlayStation 3
Yeah,
and
there used to be like
360 era.
NBA 2K, NBA Live. Now, and there used to be like NFL 2K as well, but that got killed.
And then they got like NFL Streets as well.
Yeah, but I think that was EA.
Yeah, that was EA.
That was EA. Well, here's the thing, because like the Madden series used to be a Sega title. Like and as far as for the reception of these Madden games before it was an EA exclusive, it was they were very well done, and they controlled well as far as for like previous generations of, or like the old Sega consoles and stuff like that. And then it switched hands, and then now we kind of like get the, I'm going to be the one to say this, it's the same game like over and over and over again, and they just update it. But like, does the controls feel good? Is it revolutionary? Is it like exciting to play with the way that it handles and stuff? If the NFL was to open it up or to switch hands to a different developer, then of course we're going to get a completely different game than the Madden series,
Sure.
than what we know now for the past like decade plus. So
95.
you fucking, oh god.
Yeah.
Do you
Yeah,
think
that's a
games should
long
go
time.
back to like arcadey type of games like Blitz?
Hell yes.
I mean,
Blitz
it'd be
will
great.
be Blitz will be something on the mobile. I can see that.
Yeah,
Like on
I
the
don't think
mobile phone.
there's room for simulation games though. I'm not mad that it exists, but it'd be nice if other kind of NFL franchise licensed games came out as well.
Well, okay. Well, in Japan, there's a baseball game that it's not like
Oh, yeah.
anything. Yeah, there's this one that where it's like a bunch of chibi characters, and it's very arcadey, and it's really fun. I forgot what it was called, but then like it's a very popular series, and I'm like, if the NFL can do something like that, I feel like more people that's outside of the football league or in the football game will be much more interested in playing if they can
More
figure
than
it
just
out.
Americans.
Well, I mean, even outside of people in America, because like this Japanese baseball game, there's like this very specific one. I forgot what it was called, but yeah, it's really fun. Because I played it when out like back in like the PlayStation 1 day.
Well, I think we're just gonna have to wait and see with these collaborations, to be honest with you, because like 2021 is the year of not getting overly excited for anything involving games. It seems like what I learned last year was like you can't get your hopes up. You just can't, because anything can happen with these games and they're not gonna come out how you expect it. So I'll just rather wait and see till we get like the final product or something like that. Or something closer to the actual product that's going to be released. But I cannot be like hype on some news that just on a collaboration like that. I just can't.
You can't be hyped for like 7 years.
No, I can't. And I love me some Fallout. So when Fallout 4 came out, oh man. But no, I can't. I just have to see more of what's going on with them, be able to make a decisive choice with my pockets.
All right. I guess we're done with this section. LadyInfamous, do you have a topic, and what is your question?
Oh man, I got so much stuff up here. Okay, I want to talk about the games that are coming. I sent y'all a link about the games that are coming out on PS5 and Xbox Series X. If you guys want to like take a look at the list real quick while I pull up my question. Oh my god, there's so much. I am so sorry. I'm so sorry. There it is. How do you guys feel about delays? Does it change your excitement for these games that are coming out this year? And I have another question as well. What does nostalgic feels to you when it comes to video games? That's my thing. Anything like pique your interest, like soon or recent, like, because I'm looking at this list, and based on what I see here, is a few of them. I see Delay City coming up. Um, the only thing that I'm looking at, like as of right now, is probably the Medium and Little Nightmares. That's piqued my
The two that
interest.
you know aren't delayed.
Yeah, yeah, but um, I'm just 12 minutes, but that's I just got a 2021, so most likely that's gonna be delayed. So I I don't see much. I don't see much. How you guys feel about that?
Well,
I'm not much of a pre-order guy at all, and I think you know, outside this podcast, I kept telling everybody don't pre-order games. So
well, I mean, you can be excited for like a game that's coming out
yeah,
and not pre-order it, like, but like,
Yeah.
so, but are there any that are coming out this year that you are excited for that you will get
I wouldn't say I'm
within the first
excited. Yeah,
week?
I'm not excited for anything, but there are some things that I'm pretty interested in, but I'm not like excited for it, which is like that game Kenna on the PlayStation
Okay.
5. Although I don't have a PlayStation 5, but that looks pretty interesting to me, and Deathloop.
Which one was that? Like what style
It's
of game
like
is it?
it looks like
Looks like a Pixar
yeah, it
film.
looks like a Pixar film. Yeah.
So that is coming to Steam.
Oh.
Oh
Oh, I
yeah, that is
forgot.
coming to Steam.
It
I
was
forgot.
confirmed like not shortly after that it was coming to Steam.
I'm digging It Takes Two. I want to play
That's
that.
definitely on my list.
That was a
Uh,
really good trailer.
yes, it was. Party Animals on Steam. That's I'm
I was
more
waiting for you to say it.
because how can you not like Party Animals? I
Like
mean,
super cute animals beating the crap out of each other.
yes, that's and
Yeah.
I'm ready
Yeah.
for that. I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it. I can imagine just having my little cocktails and just being the cutest little sheep or the cutest little bear and just uppercutting and swinging at my friends. I can't wait. But but we had a couple of delays like last week. So even though I see this list, I don't like the 2021s. I got like exact dates, like Back for Blood. Now, that I am excited for. I can get jiggy with that. But everything, the majority of the games that are here on this list is 2021. So they all going to be liable to get delayed. I don't see no dates. I don't trust it. If I don't see a date, I don't trust it.
Yeah. I think when I looked at the list, there was a lot of games that I saw on there that I was like, we won't call it super excited, but at least like, I get a little warm and fuzzy about when I see that it's coming. Like, um, I know most people, you might not know what the Wild at Heart is, but that's on the list, and that's something I played the demo for and loved. Um, Village, which I probably won't end up playing. I'll watch Zeldrick play, but I'm still excited about it. It looks like amazing. I kind of want to see what Ghostwire Tokyo is gonna end up being. Um, Even stuff like Returnal, like and definitely like Hellblade 2. I love the first Hellblade, so I want to play that absolutely. Um, for me personally, I think partially because I'm a PC, I've kind of transitioned more so to being a PC gamer, and there's always Steam sales, there's always games getting given away for free by Twitch and like Epic Game Store, all that kind of stuff. I basically have like way too big of a library of games to play currently. So in terms of like when you talk about delays, I don't think delays bother me that much anymore because it's not as though I'm sitting there twiddling my thumbs waiting for this specific game to come out. There's always like a million other games to play for me, even stuff I haven't caught up on. Like y'all know I still haven't played Ghost of Tsushima, still haven't finished God of War, still
Red
haven't
Dead
even done
Redemption 2.
Final Fantasy 15, Red Dead Redemption 2. Yeah. So I feel like there's always something still on the plate to be finished that, there's enough that I'm always playing catch up while I'm waiting for these new games to come out.
Zeldrick.
Yeah, like, so there's a couple of titles that were already mentioned that like that I'm excited for. And I think that like what 2020 has taught us, it like that don't expect like any of these dates to be like that it's coming up and then not think that, oh, it's going to be out on this day. Like, no, there's going to be delays. Like, you got to don't think of it as like a finalized sort of thing. And not even just 2020, like the past few years we've had like a couple of titles that would be pushed back like a little bit. Not even just a few years, past decade. It's happened a few times. And so because we've always had this, like, this is the date it's going to be released, it's always been a hard, locked in sort of finalization of a date. Like that was its due date and it delivered. But because of the way everything is now with the world, that like, we can't expect these dates to be the hard set in stone date. So it's been so many times that on this podcast that I've had the exact opposite sort of excitement than Unsheathed Productions. I will continue to be excited for something and not have it wear thin on me, even if it got delayed. That like a delayed game is to work on it better is better than a game that comes out and it comes out broken and just
Yeah, we
doesn't
all
work.
experienced that, right? Just
Right?
very, very recently too.
Yeah.
And lawsuits and everything. Anyways, the so with that, like I have been, I would just kind of forget about it and then still be excited for it, and then even with forgetting about it, I would remember back. Oh wait, I remember this one trailer. Like that was so cool, and I'd still be excited for it. Um, so, anyways, with that being said, this year, the titles that I have on my main list are Guilty Gear Strive, and being a game that I will primarily watch. I probably won't even pick it up, but I I really want to feel that FGC like heavy fighting game
I understand. I
battle
understand.
again. I may pick it up. Like I really want to get into fighting games again. And this may be it. If it has rollback netcode, then like I'm probably gonna lean more into it. Senua's Saga, Hellblade 2. Like that one is like, and I'm listing these as like from like what I'm as far as for notable ones. Um I figured that like with Hellblade that like it was really good as its own type of like encapsulated sort of story in game. I don't know where it's gonna go, so that's why I'm wary about it. God of War, Ragnarok. I don't even know if it's gonna come out this year. Probably at the
I
end of this
doubt it.
year. I don't think so, but still, like it was slated for this year, but who knows? I'm really, really excited for that, but it's one of those like I'm like 90% there, 99% there. The one that I'm actually 100% full in on is Horizon Forbidden West, because that first game was
It's coming out,
Forbidden West. It's a 2021.
Yeah.
but there's not a month, right?
There's
Or a
no month,
day.
but like
No,
it
I
was
don't trust
that.
it. I don't
Well,
trust it. It's coming out in 2022. I'm telling you right now.
well,
Right
the
now.
thing. Well, here's the thing. Like the list that you gave us, it all says like 2021 and stuff. So this is what I'm picking out of like what's
Yeah.
supposed to be 2021. So whether
Yeah.
like we already know the stipulation, the asterisk that is, it may be delayed into next year. So
Man, I don't even have a PS5. I can't even touch Forbidden West.
I mean, I don't have a PS5 either, but I'm still
And it's
excited for it.
Is that one not releasing on PC at the same time? Or is it going to be kind of like the first Horizon where it takes forever for it to come out on PC?
Probably not forever, but I think it'll be like, the one. I feel like I have the hopeful, switching my answers around. I have the hopeful sort of mindset of 1 year exclusivity on PS5 and then it's on Steam. Um, maybe, but either way, even if I don't have a PS, I'm really excited for Forbidden West.
Yeah.
my other question is like, what does nostalgic mean to you guys as far as video games is concerned? What makes you feel nostalgic about a particular game?
Well, I'll continue off of that one. That it, thinking about it, I feel like that nostalgic is is like a time frame for all of us, and we're all four of us in different time frames of what is nostalgic, what is an older generation, like the oldest generation for all of us. And for me, like it's before the PS2. So anything that is PS1, maybe leaning into the Dreamcast, sort of. Not really.
Hmm.
But like PS1, 64, Sega Genesis, and then like everything before that. That's nostalgic for me. Um, and I guess like in that same time, like Game Boy Advance, like that's nostalgic to me too because it's a completely different art style, art form, visually, and the sound design and everything. Um, and I guess what the feeling of nostalgia is just it's you look at a screenshot or you hear something and it's just this wave of like these positive feelings that like just go right through you and it's just like, oh man, I remember it's being the old person like sitting with the cane be like, oh, remember the good old days. Oh man, those sound bites, I can't, I just want to go back.
That just sounds like your JSharpie impression.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I'm kind of I think you kind of nailed it with respect to like the sort of feeling that you get when nostalgia. And for me personally, because I'm old, uh, mine definitely probably dates back more so. I mean, I played almost everything essentially up to this point. So even back to like Atari and ColecoVision and all that kind of stuff. But really, I think my nostalgia kind of translates to, um, in a lot of cases, the arcade and like Super Nintendo. So, um, I mean, you guys have been kind of witness to the fact that like I actually go back and play some of my favorite games on a semi-regular basis. From like Super Nintendo, like I'll do Super Mario World, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Turtles in Time, Super Punch Out, and then like we all got together and did like the X-Men arcade and the Simpsons arcade, like the beat 'em ups, the Ninja Turtles arcade. So I kind of like flash back to those times in those games, and that's kind of where, like you said, I get that sort of fuzzy feeling, and I'm like, oh my god, I used to just love this so much as a kid. And I think I'm kind of cognizant of that fact that it's, relative to me being young, because in a lot of ways I don't get that same feeling when the game doesn't hold up in the present. So, but it is nice to kind of get that sort of memory of like your childhood and, how much time and effort you poured into like these games that you used to love.
With me, I just it's the feeling. I guess it's a school thing for me. I enjoy like after school, I will go to the comic book shop and I would play my games. And we didn't play any games on the weekdays. We had to play them on the weekends on Fridays after we got off school. So that day it was like magical because you grabbed your snacks. You didn't have to go to school tomorrow, and you could be able to stay up night and play video games. And with some games, that's why the Switch is the Switch, because there's some games in there that it make me feel nostalgic. With Golden Sun, it make me feel nostalgic. Even as an adult, I like Fallout, and I don't know how many times I bought Fallout, but it makes me feel nostalgic of what my first time experience in that game was. So, what about you, Sharpie?
For me, I'm trying to figure out. Well, I'm trying to figure out this internet problem right now. But
Oh,
uh,
really?
for when it comes to nostalgia, I guess a lot of it has to. For me, I think music plays a big role because I think like music really helps you immerse into the actual game itself, and then the game is what's causing what causes me to like think about something, because music is something that you can actually it was more melodic back in the day, right? Like instead of it being all orchestrated and samey. I don't know how else to explain it, but it like because of the limitations of audio, like they really had to get creative with melody. And anybody that can create a good melody and catchy melody with good pacing and something that you can hum is something that will capture my nostalgia.
Mm.
If I can actually tag on that music thing, like the nostalgia of music, like that, I think what isn't music and hearing the sense of like that relates to memory, or is that smell?
I don't know. I actually don't know.
Okay.
Maybe both. I'm not sure.
Both, maybe, but
I mean,
more memory than smell.
according
Okay.
to the moon, it is smell.
Okay, that's so okay. So that's what I thought. So anyway, however, what I as far as for tagging in on that, you can easily tell the sound definition of like retro and nostalgia, and I will go back to as far as for what in my time frame, nostalgia and retro, like going backwards, you can tell the sound design is different with the Game Boy Advance, the Game Boy Color, Game Boy. You can tell the sound design difference, and even within like the same time frame of like when these handhelds and consoles were released. The Sega Genesis sounds different from the PS1. The PS1 sounds different, and the Sega Genesis sound different from the 64. All those sound different from the Super Nintendo. All that sounds different from the, and like you can tell, you can actually pinpoint where your timeline is going just by hearing all the music and the sound design, and that plays a huge part. And I think that, and LadyInfamous, like you can I know you'll catch on to this one because like Golden Sun has a very specific sound design, and it comes from the Game Boy Advance. And then if you at that same time, and I think Sharpie, you played this Advance Wars. You played
Yeah.
Advance Wars, right? Yeah. So like that has a completely different. That has like the same type of sound design and sound bites. But you can tell just from those two games that that came from the Game Boy Advance. So like, music does a lot of what our quote retro was. That's a lot of what we remember is the sound. We can remember about like how hard it was from like the Simpsons or a beat 'em up or Contra. But when we think back on it, like, man, remember that like Mega Man 3 level, like Wily
Mhm.
stage? Like it's so good. Like it just hits really hard. Yeah. So like I think that plays a lot into our nostalgia.
Yeah, definitely. Have you guys found like that there's games where the nostalgia is pretty much purely from like the musical perspective, or is it like, because like there's obviously games that can have like amazing soundtracks, but like that doesn't necessarily mean the game itself is amazing.
I like
Have you guys?
Fallout New Vegas. I like Fallout New Vegas soundtrack. I can
Gotcha.
I can listen to that soundtrack and close my eyes, and I'll be at the Mojave Wasteland. I mean, I
Well, the
really
game's not good.
the game is amazing, but the game
Okay,
is
but the question is the music really good, but everything else is bad?
no. Final Fantasy 13.
Wow. Okay. What a controversial topic right there.
The music was fire. The
But
music was
didn't you like
fire.
Final Fantasy 13?
Yeah, but we talking about what was better, the gameplay or the music? And after
Yeah, I
like
agree. The music was pretty good in that.
Yeah,
I just
it was
didn't
pretty
like the
good.
story. But we can
always
talk
hate
about
on
that
that game.
another time if we want, if
That's
people
a
are
complete-
interested
yeah.
in it.
I
Okay,
think
well, sorry, go ahead.
well, I'll mention something just real quick, and then I'll pass it off. Is out of like all the like old games or that I've played, I want to say like, have you ever guys heard of Cool Spot?
No.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
From
What's Cool
7 Up.
Spot?
Cool Spot is a game that was kind of it's based off of the 7-Up Spot
You remember that
logo.
little red dot character that they
With
have for 7 Up
sunglasses
with the
on?
sunglasses on? Yeah.
I don't want to say that that soundtrack is fire, but it's like it's all right, but everything else about it is bad. But I can't really say like after anything other than that. Like I gave like a half answer on that. So Unsheath, what
I
about your
just want
game?
to say, somebody quoted Zeldrick said the soundtrack for Cool Spot was fire.
I didn't say it was fire. I said it wasn't. It's half good.
Nah, it's too late. It's already on the internet.
Shut the fuck
I
up.
said it. So I'm just gonna say, just to move on to the next topic. Speaking of Fallout, my topic was specific to a couple of a couple of basically user created content packages that were created for a couple of games. One of them being for Fallout New Vegas, which is Fallout the Frontier, which is like an expansion that kind of takes you to Portland, Oregon. I guess it's going to be kind of all snowy and things of that nature.
And filled with hipsters.
Probably, I hope so. That'd be
I hope so.
accurate to reality. But again, like all kind of user created, like none of it was like created by like the devs or anything like that. But also the same thing happened, I guess, in the sense for Portal 2, where people created a mod called Desolation, which is kind of like, I guess it's more Portal 2 in the sense of you're solving puzzles and stuff like that, but it's all kind of in this sort of industrial cave kind of environments. So people are kind of, the idea is like, people are taking the content and making it into like making new content when there's not new content available from the devs. So my question was like, have you guys had in the past any kind of mods, total conversions, anything like that, for games that you liked where it kind of really stood out to you? Something where like maybe you were a huge fan of the game. Like you said you were a big Fallout fan. Maybe it was something that it could be even they added a weapon in Fallout and you loved it, or they added a new stage or a new area in Fallout and you loved it. But anything in any game where it's either been a mod or total conversion where you fell in love with it, you liked it a lot.
For me, I would say the Call of Duty Zombies. Their mods are ridiculous. Like you can be Kermit the Frog, you can be SpongeBob SquarePants, you can be doing zombies at McDonald's, Burger King. You can have a map that's one room long and has all the upgrades in one room. You'll have a wide open area with no windows. It has everything. I love what the mod community did with the Call of Duty Zombies.
Was there like a particular skin or something like that you would use that you like it was your favorite?
It had to be Kermit the Frog.
Oh, you did Kermit?
Kermit the Frog, because it was like 4 frogs with AKs shooting zombies and trying to level up and open windows. So yeah.
Oh, I hope did they any chance the Kermit the Frog that you did, was it the one with the hoodie on?
No, he didn't have the hoodie on.
That would have been amazing. What about you guys?
I like Counter-Strike. That was a mod. And it
Shut up.
became a
That's a good
full-fledged
point.
game.
That's a great point.
Okay, that's a good point, but I mean, when it's a community made and it's not actually sold as a product.
That's how it started.
Okay, keep going.
What else? No other ones?
Are
you gonna say like Dota?
Pokemon Uranium.
Oh wow, I didn't heard that name in a long time.
I have no idea what that is. What is it?
It's a community-made Pokemon game, and it's a
For
very,
sure, but I mean,
very
like-
nuclear game. Let's put it that way.
What was it based on? Like, is it based on the kind of like
I don't remember. It's been a
Game Boy
while.
esque like Pokemon games, or
I think it was Game Boy Advance.
Game Boy Advance?
I want to
Yeah.
say. Yeah, that's actually, I haven't heard that name in so long, and came screaming back at me that I downloaded it and then never played it.
What
And I
does that mean that it was nuclear? What was it supposed to be?
Well, I mean, it's uranium, right?
Or yeah,
So yeah, I'm just putting a
new
pun
type
out there.
called nuclear. Well, didn't it add like different new, like brand new community made Pokemon that were nuclear type?
Pokemon knowledge is not that much, so I couldn't even tell you.
so yes, it sounds like the actual Pokemon were based on like the concept of being like nuclear, like
Right.
their attacks and stuff like that were kind of, I guess, nuclear energy based or something. Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought when you said nuclear, my first thought was like you meant that it was basically like a big troll.
No, it was
Like
a
everything they put in
full-fledged
the was
game.
to
Yeah.
annoy you. Okay, got you.
Hey, lady, there's an idea for you. Fallout X Pokemon.
I don't know,
Ooh.
maybe. You know,
Get
I'm
rid of
down to try new things. I'm down to try new things.
get rid of the rad roaches or whatever they are.
Excuse me, sir. We don't speak that word in the podcast. I thought we had this discussion.
Replace them with Diglets.
Fallout X Pokemon, it's multiplayer, and I come at you with a 6-pack of rad roaches.
Yeah.
Oh wow. I wouldn't even. Y'all just want to do me dirty.
And it's
I'm
turn
good,
based.
though. Oh no, turn based. I can't do it. I can't do it.
Well, at least you get to take your time to like you know, be able to handle the fact that I'm coming at you with rad roaches, and then it's your turn to, you know, squash my rad roaches.
That's one of the reasons why I don't play Fallout 76 like that, because I can be exploring and it could be a radiated rad roach, and they green and they glow in the dark. So I'm like, nah, I can't. But why are you laughing at my pain, sir?
Because you have a gun. Rad roaches shouldn't be that scary if you got a gun.
Hey, look, when they jump in your face, then it'll be scary enough.
Honestly,
or a
rocket
powered hammer. You really squash them.
Oh man.
As far as for mods for me, like I never have played any game and done a total conversion mod or anything like that. The only mods that I've ever done were quality of life, in the like minimalistic form, and performance fix mods. Like that's how I played New Vegas. It was performance mods to make it just run better on modern hardware. I think the most total conversion that I've ever done in a game is Stardew Valley. And like I played Stardew Valley for a handful of hours, and just so I can get the feel of it and everything, and it was nice. And then I stopped. I can never continue with Stardew Valley for more than just like a week. I don't know why. But I did a mod where every single one of the citizens was a different type of animal, and it made it feel like that I was playing a game where I was in a storybook. I was in a kid's book, and trying to interact with all these denizens of animals, and helping them out, and farming and stuff. So it made it a lot more cuter for me. And because
Mhm.
like the pixel style that it was going for, like yeah, like the designs and the portraits are really really good, but because it's going for a lot of that feel good stuff, like I it's trying to like bring out the kid in me and that sort of thing. And that's where like I thought that the making everybody like into an animal was like so much better. It brought out more of the good time feeling, kind of actually like Animal Crossing. Like like that's another feel good game, but like you wouldn't get the same exact feeling if all of the denizens were human. So
I
So
feel
were they
you.
kind of like anthropomorphized? Like they were, animals that were supposed to be human, or were they just like literally animals?
oh, they're anthropomorphized.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, that sort of thing.
Nice. Have you never done like the skins thing or anything like that for a game? Because I've seen it in
Uh,
like, I mean, I know you said you aren't like huge into playing fighting games, but I've even seen it for like fighting games. Like they'll have skins for people in like Street Fighter 5, stuff like that, just to kind of get a different look.
Yes.
Have you ever done that to get a different look for somebody?
I have to really think about
Like a
that one,
skin?
'cause I
Like a
can't.
skin,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Skin counts for like a mod. Yeah.
The Mercy Halloween skin.
Yeah, but you didn't mod that.
Oh yeah, yeah, they gave you that. Well, they didn't give you that. You earned
I
it.
didn't
It was
get
put something added in the game, right?
but
I don't know. I find that hot.
ain't nothing wrong.
And I think
I
you guys
agree.
know why.
No, I don't know why. Won't you tell me?
Sharpie told
Maybe
the witch
another
doctor
time
he
when
fell in
people
love
get to
with
know
said
me a
maybe
little more.
He said maybe another time. That's fine. Which were you saying? What were you saying, Zeldrick?
Oh, I was just making a joke, making a song that Sharpie told the witch doctor that he fell in love with her.
Oh, okay.
Oh, look at this guy.
Because she's yeah, skins. I'm like quickly going through like my Steam list of games that I've beaten, and like, yeah, I can't even like
Yeah,
go
remember
along
when
with that.
skins were free?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Not no more.
Even Counter-Strike
anymore.
had skins that was community made and animations that was community made, and those were all free until Counter-Strike, until CS:GO came out. Then we had to buy skins.
Oh.
Yeah, it's not like that no more. So
Well, I mean, some games still have them.
Some games
That's
still
why
have
there's
it,
Steam
yeah.
Workshop.
the
Yeah.
Bethesda store used to they used to do like their mods for Fallout is way better than the actual game at times. So yeah.
And that's why they opened up the Bethesda store so you can buy mods off of them.
Yep. I do have one game that I know you've tried skins on, Zeldrick. That's I'm pretty sure you did. Gary's mod.
The entire game's a mod, though.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, the whole game was.
But I mean, like I think we had at least one session where we were all in there just kind of playing around in sort of the sandbox, that kind of default sandbox world,
I
and
think
just like
we were all
putting
anime
skins on
chicks
there.
and
Yeah,
chairs
we were
and
anime,
stuff.
exactly.
Yeah, and you
Okay.
guys can see the anybody that's listening in, you can see the spotlight, or not spotlight, the highlight of like what happened on my YouTube channel.
Oh, you still
And it's hella
Shameless
funny
plug.
because LadyInfamous is like saying, "I hate Superman." It's like saying, "Ooh, you Superman." When I chose it.
you know what you should do? You should put the link into the chat so they can see.
Yeah, I have to go
Yeah.
look for it. It's
Oh, you gotta
somewhere
look for
deep
it.
into my YouTube feed.
I gotcha.
So I guess like Gary's mod, yeah, like I did try some skins for that, but like I didn't download any to like actually toy around with it.
Yeah.
Like I did when we did play Prop Hunt, like I guess you know what? Like that was it's sort of native into Gmod now, but you have to add in like a whole bunch of like assets of like the levels and Steam Workshop for all that stuff. And so I guess yeah, that's like the biggest like total conversion that I've ever done in a game at all for myself, and that's Prop Hunt, and that was a lot of fun.
Yeah. I would say for me, like I don't know if anybody else is gonna know what this is, but back in the day, people used to just mod Quake 3 all the time. Like
Oh
and like there
yeah.
was a bunch of like kind of, of varying degrees of success and varying degrees of like it being good. A bunch of like total conversions that people came out with, or they would start and then they would shut down or whatever. It used to be on ModDB where you could find all of them. And one of them that I found that I used to love was it was called Bid for Power, which was like a total conversion of
Uh-huh.
Quake 3 into like Dragon Ball. So and it was like
Whoa.
it was
That's
literally
interesting.
like yeah, they would put like a bunch of arenas, like they had the arena where you fought where everybody fought Cell, they had the hyperbolic time chamber, they had Planet Namek or whatever, and they put in, I think it was somewhere in the neighborhood of maybe 12 people, all who had 5 different moves. Where it would be like Goku can do Kamehamehas or fireballs and all that kind of stuff. But at the time, I would say that maybe obviously Dragon Ball Fighters at this point might have taken over for it, but at the time it was probably the closest that I've gotten to an experience playing a Dragon Ball game where it felt like an episode of the series, in the sense that you could like, you know, charge up your character and like, have them scream so that they get more energy, and you could dash up in the air and fly around and shoot fireballs at people. And it was multiplayer, so you could like play against it could be, Goku versus Vegeta if somebody decided to pick them. Like the actual environments were really well done for the time. If you look at them now, they're super blocky. But for the time, they looked great, and it just kind of really kind of encompassed the feeling you get from playing from watching Dragon Ball. Minus like the punching. If you ever watch the show, they always like punch at super fast speeds, and everybody's eyes are darting around like, oh, where's he at? I can't see him. You don't get that, but it was at least like, you got the cool parts of shooting energy blasts and flying around and fighting people. Um, and I played that one for, it might have been 2 years, just like off and on, because I loved it so much. And, they kept adding characters and stuff like that. I think that was my favorite one. Although I will say one more thing. Oh, sorry. Were
Yeah.
you going to say something about Dragon Ball?
Well, I was gonna say something about that because like
Yeah,
that's
go ahead.
all in first person, right?
No, it's third person.
Oh, okay. Because I that's what I've started to think of because it's a Quake 3 mod.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They actually did a really good job of like changing this game, because it feels nothing like Quake 3. It's literally like probably the best total conversion I've personally ever played. Um The other one I was gonna say real quick, this is kind of more personal, is just that like back in college, um, you guys have all like at least the three of you guys have all like talked to Yimmy T before. He was one of my college roommates, one of my best friends, and he used to actually make mods for The Sims where he would add like his own clothes in and like so we could make characters that were actually like customized for us. I think he
Oh,
would do them in Photoshop and stuff like that. And I think that was probably my second favorite because it was actually funny to see the Sims running around actually looking like me or looking like him or whatever. But still doing what Sims do, talking nonsense.
So he
and,
3D modeled too?
no, he just had to like I think he didn't 3D model, but there was a way to just like make the skin and wrap it around the already existing 3D
Yeah.
model.
Oh, like the flat skin thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
it's the image mapping of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, exactly.
right.
Um,
Zeldrick, don't you got something for us today?
I do.
I didn't mean to cut you
Don't
off.
you
And
got
No, you didn't
something?
cut me off. I was about to start, and like you're
No, I
way ahead
didn't.
of it.
I'm sorry. My bad.
You're good.
I apologize. I was trying to make sure we got the pace going. Did I miss anything from you, Unsheath?
Nah, you good.
Okay. My bad. I apologize. What you got? What you got, Zeldrick?
So, Square Enix has trademarked a few names,
Okay.
a couple names in a thing. So, Final Fantasy VII Remake being as big of as big of a hit as it was in 2020, and kind of what we needed for that year. They have trademarked the First Soldier, Ever Crisis, and the Shinra logo. Now a lot of this is like as far as for we all know that like they're developing now probably for like a few months, I want to say maybe a little bit longer, on remake 2, the second part. And so there's kind of like a lot to, because this was already like trademarked back in, I want to say, I think it says mid-December. Yeah, and then now it just became public. So there's it's all of this now is just what can we derive from this information. The First Soldier, now LadyInfamous, you are somewhat intimate with Final Fantasy 7, like the OG. So
Yes, I am. I am somewhat intimate with that game. 41 hours.
Part of it.
now
Hey, 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 hey. At least I experienced it. At least I experienced it. Yeah.
So the First Soldier is a reference to Sephiroth. He is the First Soldier. Ever Crisis, there was a game back on PSP that was called Crisis Core. The term crisis is what it is, that type of scenario, that area of the story, what it usually refers to, which is an entire story about Zack. And then the Shinra logo, all of that is just connected all together because Zack, First Soldier, Sephiroth, like all of those are for Shinra. Now, as far as for the harebrained trying to derive from this, the First Soldier, as if you remember, the Infamous, and actually everybody else here too, after what we got from the Final Fantasy VII Remake, and then we have the party leaving Midgar, everything after that is like you get a little bit of travel, and it is a lot of backstory of what happened before, of Cloud's memories, back at the village, back at the mountain, and everything. So you get to Cosmo Canyon, and then you get all of like what the memories are and stuff like that. So people are suspecting that the First Soldier has something to do with part 2.
Okay.
Ever Crisis is more of, because it is Zack, and because since in the remake, I guess like spoilers, like whatever, if that like Zack is alive, and because Zack is alive, um, Ever Crisis might have something to do with Zack in this present timeline of Final Fantasy VII Remake, or it may be just something in reference to that scenario from way back when. But in regards to everything, Ever Crisis has something to do with Zack. And then Shinra logo is just the wrapping around all of it. So you can make your ideas as far as for where this is going to go, where all these are going to be placed, and how they're going to wrap this all into the remake. And I think it's actually pretty interesting since the remake is more of a sequel to the OG, and that and because of that, like Square Enix is not going backwards and like sort of like retelling the old thing. It's kind of moving forward with the Final Fantasy VII sort of storytelling and the timeline and everything.
Yeah.
Um,
Go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
no, actually, take the floor. Go for it.
This is I know I can play Final Fantasy VII Remake, but like part of me wants to finish the OG. I don't know why. I feel like it's going to be harder, but they
You're
supposed
invested
to
in the story, aren't you?
maybe.
Yeah, which one do you feel like is supposed to be harder? Which one do you think is going to be harder? I mean,
Oh, OG.
oh yeah.
Well, that kind of goes back to like in relation to what I had said for like the New Year's podcast, which was like the reason why that Final Fantasy VII remake was not like on my top of the list game of the year was because like I played the OG. Like it would be my personal like game of the year, of course. But because like as far for overall, like I think that for you that like you'll get the same feelings as I did, that like, oh man, like I remember this, the reimagining of this and that and the other thing. Like I I gotta hand it off to you. I appreciate what you're doing with like playing the OG first and then hopping into the remake and then seeing all these differences or the upgraded quality of like how they're telling the story.
Okay.
So with that, because since remakes over the past like a couple years have been a huge thing, Spyro has gotten a remake, Crash has gotten a remake. If you could go back, we're going back to like retro. I'm not gonna talk about like PS3 or PS2. We're gonna go back. I mean, if you want to go like Atari, then fucking go for it. Like it's open game.
That's
But
OG.
like
That's OG. Yeah.
that's the original OG. The as far as for what would make a good remake, and it's not like, oh, like here's like your like all time like of favorite back in way back in the day, like Golden Sun. Like I know that I thought about that when I thought about this question for you, Lady Infamous, but like what would make a good remake to then put it into our modern day with whatever treatment that they're going to get for not like the Final Fantasy VII remake, because that's like over the top sort of remake. But as far as
Yeah.
for remakes go, what would be a good remake to bring back from the past, retell the story in a better way with better scripting and and even keep some of like the good stuff from way back in the day? What would be a good retelling or good remake?
Oh, it's on my tip of my tongue. I can't remember. I ain't gonna lie to you. Full House Poker. I missed that.
Full House
I missed.
Poker?
Yeah. Yes. Full House Poker.
The one on
It's
the Xbox, was it
360.
360? Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Call me crazy, but one of the best games off the 360 was Full House Poker. You had your avatar go play poker with other people online with their avatars, and you do chip tricks, and you can dress up your avatar in special clothing, like you going out to the actual casino and play. I missed that because you got more time on your Xbox. You took time to like get, for my case, I was getting cute with my little avatar, going to the casino, kicking ass, playing poker. But also it's another way to get closer to people playing online, because right now Prominence Poker, it ain't fire. Like it's a alright poker game if I want to play poker. But something for a remake, I need that Texas heat. I need to have my stats to be up 50 again. I need to learn some 2021 chip tricks and stuff like that. So yeah, I think that would be it for me.
There's GTA 5.
Oh man, they
Not
don't
the same.
even. First of all, that's not a real casino. Well, it's a real one, but they don't got real poker. They got the three card poker, and I'm playing the one with the 5 cards. I forgot what it's called.
Texas.
Yeah.
Like the 5 cards in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's Texas Hold'em.
Yeah.
There you go. I was trying to think of the name. Yeah.
Unsheath, what about you?
I don't know. This was a hard one for me because I feel like a lot of, honestly, the most memorable games that I can think of, let's say from childhood until now, like a lot of them have actually gotten, I mean, I don't know if you want to call them remakes necessarily, but they've been redone um in some fashion.
Mhm.
So I honestly couldn't think of anything. I
Mm-hmm.
guess there could be something like I was trying to think back to like the Super Nintendo days, and I was like, oh, maybe something like a Chrono Trigger. That might, I don't know, that might be a good
That
opportunity to
might be a good
remake that.
one. I wouldn't mind playing Chrono Trigger. I heard that game is like a lot of gameplay. Like you're gonna be there for a while. For them to upgrade it, I don't mind. I think I'm interested in that.
Did you? Oh, so you never played the first one?
I never played the first one.
Okay, yeah,
Did you play Chrono Cross? It's not like a direct sequel. It's more of a spiritual. No, okay. And just
yeah,
a general question.
yeah. I remember it being fun. Like I played it for the first time, I think like 2 or 3 years ago or something like that. I was way behind the ball, but um, I guess something like that could use like a a new age treatment. But in terms of like, I think what I would personally want is something with like a really developed, well done story.
Mhm.
And I think at least from what I remember in the past, like there wasn't a huge emphasis in a lot of games except for maybe on like JRPGs. There wasn't a huge emphasis on like having like this deep story until you got maybe around to, I guess maybe it could have played PlayStation 1 or PlayStation 2 days or something like that. Um so yeah, this one was tough, but I guess I'd just pick some kind of JRPG, probably I'd say Chrono Trigger. Let's go with that.
Okay.
God,
Sharpie,
you
do you have a?
took my
Yeah,
answer.
I know I did.
Well, if you want, you can actually expand on
Yeah.
that
The,
too.
the reason why I think Chrono Trigger is great is because it's one of the first games to have multiple endings, depending on what you actually did. Not only that, the music is great. Like I think like I think during the SNES era, I think Chrono Trigger has one of the best soundtracks. And yeah, and then not only that, the storytelling and the pacing and all that in that game, like it's great. I still suggest people to play if you haven't already because like um it doesn't really have a slow start either. But I think like if you were to be considered slow, like I will say like if you're the type of person that can't get into the game in the first 2 minutes, then you will have a hard time with that game. But I'm pretty sure most of us are patient enough to at least play 10 to 15 minutes of a game. But and then like by then like you'll be like saying, oh my god, what's going on here now? Like there's so many things that happen in like the first 15 minutes of the game. So but I would like if it comes to like any other games, I don't know, E.T. on the Atari. I would like to see that game
Make, like, the
remade into a
second
better
worst
game.
ever made.